you come so highly recommended and decorated, and like you're one of the good guys in this real estate investing space. And not everybody has those titles, those awards, those ribbons. So I commend you for all of what you've done and built up to be. Uh, and today we're going to see how you got there, right? The good days, the bad days, the struggles, right? But also some of this is just, it's a marathon. Some laps are going to be better than others. You're going to have your highs and lows, but sometimes just sticking with it is a success. I say all that to ask you, Tim, how did you get and why did you get into real estate, especially real estate investing?
Well, about 25 years ago is when it all started. I was working at Quick Trip, and as a young kid, I've always wanted to be self-employed, probably from 7th grade on. And the idea was I wanted to get a corporate job, kind of figure out what's going on, get my foot in the door and get started. But really, I'm not an employable person. I'm a good employee for a period of time, but I'm always trying to build something on the side. I like the idea of just freedom and being able to do what you want to do. So I started at Mizzou. That's where I started out. I had a job as got involved with Aldi Food. I was a district supervisor for them. That lasted almost about a year and a half. And I had this great idea to go into network marketing, which was Amway. And my dad said, "You're the craziest guy there is, one of the highest paying jobs out of Mizzou, to quit it after a year and a half to go work in Amway." So I did all the nutraceuticals, MLMs that you could do, and then ended up having to get a job with Quick Trip. And I was there for a period of time. And a guy walked in one day and dropped on the counter a check for $36,000 and said, "Take a look at that." And as a liquor doctor on Airport Road, and he had been here every day, and he was just an unassuming guy, but he had a weapon on the side of it all the time. And I said, "Hey, would you get some time? Would you show me how to do that?" And he goes, "Sure." And I was thinking, "Oh, we can meet at Applebee's or something like that." And he says, "No, let's meet at the Ritz-Carlton." And I was like, he's a pretty normal looking guy, but he wanted to go to Ritz-Carlton. So we go there. And for about 30 minutes, he just gives me nuggets on how he does rehabs. And he had a convenience store. And what he would buy property from the neighborhood. And that was when they bought him out and they put the spot airport garage there in some of the land that he had. So he had a check for the payoff of property that he had sold. And he shared with me how to get started. And he says, you just have to go out and buy a property. So I went to Office Depot, where you get those contracts. It says your name goes here, their name goes there. Yeah. Went down to South St. Louis, acted like I knew what I was doing, found a for sale by owner house, and knocked on the door and acted like I knew what I was doing. About 30 minutes later, came out, had whiteout all over the place, and I had a property under contract.
Oh my gosh.
And that's when all the trouble started that I didn't know.
Jen, having a goal, going out, learning what to do or not to do. So you're the fire, aim, ready?
Yes. That is why I tell people all the time when I coach them, don't do what I did, do what I say. Because I had bought one program before that was Ron LeGrand's. It was a $2,000 program back when you got cassettes and a little book. And that was basically it after I'd done a couple of different rehabs to figure out, should I be doing something different? But I had a business degree and I was brought up as a farm boy. So the idea is that you can just figure it out. So that's kind of how I started and went through the process of just learning how to do rehabs and flips.
So you got your first deal, right? You got your first check, you turned around, did your second deal. What were some of your early struggles? Like, was it finding the money? Was it finding the contractors? What was some of your early hiccups there? Because obviously you weren't scared to start, but I think you soon realized you don't know what you don't know.
What was remarkable is that I really didn't have any real hiccups in the beginning. Everything happened perfectly. And that was probably the biggest shakeup, is because when I did have a life failure later on, that's when business crumbled. But I had extreme success early on. I had a great office manager. Ever since then, I've been looking for an office manager to fit her shoes, and it takes 5 or 6 people. But we had a great operation. We had a mortgage company, real estate company, 4 construction crews, private money, Trend, which was the real estate network, where we had a private coaching going on. We did monthly meeting, teaching people how to flip houses back then. It wasn't so much about rental properties. But everything worked great until it didn't. The downturn of the economy. And right before then, I had a personal failure that, really undercut my legs and killed everything. So that's kind of what my biggest failure was, growing too fast, not having everything in place, and thinking that it's going to continue to go on and on. And young guys, you try to tell them now, it's like every now and then the market throws you a curveball and you're not ready for it. So that's what really hit me.